welcome to Aiken This Week. I'm Emery Langston. Today I'm being joined by Ben Harm and Jessica Campbell, and we are going to be talking about Leadership Aiken County and the class project for 2016. And I want to thank you both for being here and taking a few minutes out of your day to talk to us about such a neat program.
Well, thank you for having us.
I know Leadership Aiken County has been around for a while, and I know that it has contributed greatly to projects and volunteerism and has had a big impact in our community over the years. So let's just jump right in, and Ben, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
So I want you to tell us what your role is with Leadership Aiken County.
Okay. Well, I am the class coordinator for the Adult Leadership Aiken County program. I'm also on the board of directors for Leadership Aiken County.
So when you say class coordinator, each year there's a class of professional folks.
Correct.
Who comes through, and they have to have kind of a leading voice. Would that be translated correctly?
That is correct. The class coordinator is selected from the board of directors and kind of gives overall guidance to the group as they move forward.
Very good. When was Leadership Aiken County started?
We were actually started back in 1982. That was when the first class was. So about 35 years or so ago.
I did not realize that it had been in existence that long.
That's correct.
So that is a lot of class projects over the years.
It is.
And a lot of volunteerism in the community.
It is. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the projects as we go.
Very good. Well, can you tell us what the overall purpose and goal of Leadership Aiken County?
Sure. The overall purpose is to identify and develop future leaders in Aiken County. And those goals are accomplished through a variety of different ways. We talk leadership techniques and leadership, I guess, styles as we go through. We build an esprit de corps in the group, and each group has to do a project. And that goes to some of that volunteerism you were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you kind of give us an overview as to a class comes in?
Okay.
And it's 9 months?
Correct.
And kind of just give us the framework about this young group or this group of professionals coming in. What do they expect? I mean, what do they do?
Well, their expectations differ from person to person, but we start with a retreat at Camp Gravitt. Mm-hmm. And they do the ropes course. They do something called SimSoc, which is a simulated society. Yeah. And that's always interesting. Yes. And we basically, in a day, recreate some of the issues in our current society through that program. And so that's always an interesting facet of the program. And they really start to develop and build an esprit de corps. They really start to bond there. And then they talk about what type of project they want to do, and they establish committees for doing those sorts of things. So they have a lot of different leadership moments and styles in the class and at that retreat.
So it's a month. These folks meet on a monthly basis after the retreat.
Correct.
And each of the months has a different theme to it, would you say?
Correct. We do a variety of different themes, from healthcare to law enforcement to government. Actually, coming up is Education Day, so we talk about education in Aiken County. We also do a Horse and History Day that focuses on the horse industry as well as the history of Aiken County. We also have a Cultural Diversity Day, and it's a variety of different things.
Sure. So and it's focused around what's going on in Aiken County.
That is correct.
And so how many participants usually participate in a class?
The participants are, the number is determined by the board of directors.
Okay.
So this year we actually have 32 participants. So anywhere from about 25 to 32 is about the norm.
Oh, okay. All right. So can you tell us what are some of the programs that are run by Leadership Aiken County?
Okay, we do two main leadership programs. The first I'll talk about is the Junior Leadership Aiken County program. That is for 9th graders in Aiken County, and they are from this year's class has students from all over the county. It's got students from Ridge Spring, North Augusta, Midland Valley, Aiken, South Aiken, even the private schools, Mead Hall is included. So that's an application process, and their program is modeled. It was actually a class project of one of the Leadership Aiken County classes, and so that program was developed through a class project. their program is modeled after the adult program, except the kicker for them is they go on days that they're out of school in the springtime. So that's more of a challenge for them, and it's actually speaks to the volume of leadership that those young folks have, being willing to give up their 3-day weekends in order to do a program.
Sure.
And they also do a project.
Oh, very good.
So, and this year's project for the junior leadership program was actually a fundraiser for Helping Hands.
Oh,
So they raised close to $2,000 for that program.
very good. Yeah, a lot of good stuff I know comes out
Absolutely.
of Leadership Aiken.
And then the adult program, which we kind of talked about, is also run by the board of directors, and they also do a project each year.
And the board of directors, what does that look like?
Well, they are all Leadership Aiken County graduates, and then the members are selected by the other board members as they move on.
And what's the rotation on that? What's the term limit on
It is a 2-year rotation.
that? Oh, okay.
So
To have a little bit of consistency there.
it is.
To build the programs. What is the, we've talked about the program format for each of the programs that you do. Now talk about how the participants are selected.
Okay. Each participant will fill out an application, and it's a competitive process, and then the board will review the applications and kind of make some selections from there.
Okay.
So depending on the applications will depend on how long it takes to select them, so to speak.
Sure.
So the application process is a competitive one. The board of directors, the board actually selects and reviews all those applications for both programs.
Okay. Well, and I know that a lot of the participants are from government and companies and businesses around. Is that correct?
Yeah, and we've actually have some retired people.
Very good.
And actually in Jessica's class we have a retired doctor.
Okay.
So she is very, very vibrant in the class. And we've got folks from all over Aiken County. And they're from a wealth of different disciplines. You have folks from law enforcement, you have folks from government, you have folks from the business industry, you have financial folks, you have manufacturing folks,
Healthcare,
education, all sorts of folks. So it's a diverse group of disciplines, so to speak.
Well, I know that's really kind of what helps the program work so well.
It is.
Is the diversity that's seen in that. So any person, if you're a retired person or a stay-at-home mom even, you can apply to be a part of this.
That is correct.
Well, now, what types of projects have been completed in the past?
Oh, well, there's been a variety of different projects. Actually, the all-inclusive playground right by the library was one of the class projects. One of the classes has done a walking track at the Cumbie Center shelter. Other projects have included such things as new furniture at Helping Hands, and there's a variety of different projects that the groups over the years have done.
So they have done anything from having something that's stationary, some furniture, to programs or an event.
That is correct.
Over the years, and it's just spanned the time.
One group actually changed a state law.
Oh.
Dealing with child abuse. That was about 5 or 6 years ago, I believe. They actually got a state law changed. So it's pretty interesting to see the different types of projects that occur.
Yes, because to get a law enacted is not something that happens in 9 months.
It is, well, if you have a focus group of individuals working on it, it can happen.
So that did take place in the span of their course. It did not go over and they had to, that is really interesting.
It is.
So we have some motivated folks in this community.
We do.
That's really exciting. Well, anything else that we haven't touched on specifically with the framework of Leadership Aiken County?
I think we pretty much covered the classes and stuff. Each year the applications come out about mid-June and are due by July 30th.
Okay.
So If you're interested in applying, by all means do so.
Yes, and they just get, Leadership Aiken County has a website
That is correct.
that folks can go on and get all that wonderful information.
Absolutely.
Very good. So Jessica,
Yeah.
you're in this year's class
Yes.
as a participant. Really exciting. So tell us about the project that was selected.
So our class has decided to do public art for Aiken, for the community. And we wanted to just highlight Aiken and its history. So we're theming it Aiken through art. And we've selected a variety of locations in downtown. We're going to have the art place there. We hope for it to be a permanent showpiece for residents and visitors alike to enjoy.
Well, now, how did your class come up with this idea? That's
Right.
really interesting.
Yeah, well, as Ben was saying, we have committees, and there is a project committee that got together, and we started by putting a survey out to all the class members in hopes to get some initial feedback of the area that we'd like to work on, and that was very broad.
Yes.
We've seen so many organizations that need assistance and could use and could benefit from our project, and so it was very challenging to narrow it down. So we took those surveys and we met again as a class and said, okay, here was the feedback. If you have a specific project in mind, submit a proposal. And I want to say we received about 8 proposals as a whole, and the project committee took those and evaluated them and really looked at things such as, can it be completed in the time frame?
Right.
Do we have the resources available to complete it? What type of impact will it have on the community? And a variety of other ways to go about narrowing that list of 8 down even further. And we were able to get it to about 3, what we felt like were projects that would be doable. And we had those class members present that to the class as a whole and then voted. And then I think we had a tie and then had to vote again. So it was very, they really were all great projects,
Sure.
even, all 8 that were submitted. But the public art was one that I had proposed, and I really didn't have a lot of guidelines or restrictions to it. I wanted the class to give the input and to come up with the process for making it happen, and they've really been successful in doing that.
Well, and I know that when you go through that and you decide what your project is, you have to come up with the framework, the funding. How are we going to get this done? I mean, it's from scratch, and it's not like, okay, here's X number of dollars to be able to implement your project. So all of those things have to be taken under consideration and planned for and coordinated.
Right.
So that's exciting.
Yes, we were able to then take the committees that were already established for the class, such as a graduation committee and a celebrations committee and a history committee and communications committee, and assign those to not only do those their duties for the class for the whole 9 months, but also focus on the project. So our communications committee has also helped with media releases and putting together packets of information for this project. Our celebrations committee is going to be working on a very specific part of the project as well. So it's lend itself to everyone still being able to
Sure.
give a little bit and help out in a very specific way.
Right. Well, let's talk about the project itself a
Yes.
little bit and the locations of the work and the themes.
Right. So as I mentioned, we want to represent sort of the history of Aiken through the art. So we've solicited artists, and we've contacted some local businesses here in downtown Aiken, and we've sort of themed up something about Aiken's history with that location. For example, one is the AECOM facility, and they're going to represent nuclear and hazardous site management, operations, and cleanup. So we wanted to, tie the site
Sure.
in, obviously, with this. We have the Aiken Chamber of Commerce as another location, and they're going to represent, obviously, local business and industry. We have the Aiken County's Farmers Market, and they're going to represent Aiken's early farming plantations and settlements that were here well before our community was ever established. Then we have the Aiken Visitor Center in Giles Park, which we'll talk about, or which will showcase some of the history of the railroad here in Aiken. We have Carriage House Inn, which will represent Aiken's equestrian culture, and they're also going to tie in some golf history as well.
Very good.
Then we have the Center for African American History, Arts, and Culture, and they'll represent Aiken's cultural history. We have Rose Hill Estate, which will tie in Aiken's beautiful nature of gardens and South Boundary Oaks and just the natural beauty of nature here in Aiken. And then last, we've got another with SRS. There is a history museum downtown, and they're going to talk more about the past and the achievements that helped to win the Cold War. So it's going to be very exciting to
Yes.
To travel through these different locations and view the art and really see how Aiken came about.
Well, and over the past couple of months, the city's really focused on getting input from folks in the community about what they want to see, with the Main Street
Right.
folks that have come in and taken some information and with the strategic plan going on. And the theme throughout has been the want for public art and things in our parkways and to highlight just what you're talking about. So, I mean, how timely is this?
Mm-hmm.
And it fits in so nicely with, I think, what is trying to be achieved in our downtown area. And just going to accentuate and add, just another level of interest to what is already great downtown. So this is exciting. So, Jessica, tell us how the artists were selected.
Right. We created a call for artists packet, and we met with the Aiken Artists Guild and the Aiken Center for the Arts, and were able to distribute those packets out to the community. We really wanted to pull in local artists as much as we could, and then just word of mouth through the class members and just talking with community leaders to try to get those artists to submit applications. We received a good many back, and the subcommittee met within the class and reviewed those. And we really tried to listen to what those business owners wanted at their locations and took that into consideration as to pairing an artist with the location.
Sure.
So that was a long process of really reviewing those and seeing what would be fit the best. And so now we've begun discussion with the artist and the business owner, making that connection happen. And they'll be deciding with a location specifically on site, what style of art, whether it's a mural or a sculpture or something completely different, and get their ideas going for a completed project. So it's really been exciting to see what the artists have in mind and to
Sure.
hear what the business owner wants and make that collaboration happen.
So you didn't put the parameters on it that it had to be A, B, or C.
No. No, we left it very open. We wanted artists of all kinds, and we have photographers to, sculptors to painters, and the list goes on.
So that's really going to be exciting to see what the final product will be.
Right.
So when will we see this art in place?
The deadline, as you mentioned earlier, we have 9 months to make it all happen. So our deadline's June 30th. That's our graduation. Class will dismantle after that, so it has to be completed by then. You may see some artists already beginning work sooner than that, obviously, but that is the deadline. Now we will have a VIP reception for the community, for sponsors, for anyone interested in sort of knowing the reveal up front. That'll happen May 6th. And we will have tickets available for that. If you would reach out to a Leadership Aiken class member, we'll be able to get a ticket to someone. I'm sure there'll be some information in the paper very soon on that. But we'll have the artists there, and we'll introduce them to the community and introduce what their actual artwork will be. It's going to be a great event. We'll have entertainment. We're going to have a silent auction as well to help continue to raise funds. And of course some food and beverages, so it should be a good time.
So that'll be a great way for the community to become involved.
Yes, for sure.
Very good. Well, great things that are going on in this year's class. Anything that we haven't talked about that you want to mention?
So just going back to other ways the community can be involved, of course we're going to continue to solicit for donations and funds. Any type of contribution at this point is very helpful. We are paying the artists a stipend for their work, and we are also fundraising for local to support art in the local schools. So we're working through public education partners, and they will put together a teacher grant for teachers to be able to get those contributions to do artwork within their classroom. So we're really excited to have that aspect of this as well.
Yeah, that's just another wonderful component to what y'all are providing.
Right. And then once it's all put together, we're going to have a brochure as well that will be available for, again, residents or visitors. It'll have a map where hopefully someone can walk and or drive to these different locations and really showcase Aiken through art.
Sure. Well, when you were talking about where the locations were, I was thinking to myself, well, this would be a great little walking venture throughout the city because it's all very accessible.
Right.
And if somebody was not able to walk it, it is very accessible by car as well.
Correct.
So, well, this is really exciting and such a tremendous contribution, again, that the Leadership Aiken County is making in our area. So, what's the best thing about being involved with Leadership Aiken County for you, Jessica?
I'm enjoying a day out of the office, number one. That's always nice, just to get out and visit these locations. It was my first time ever going out to Bridgestone this year. We toured that facility. We went out to the site and just, and I've lived in Aiken. I'm an Aikenite, and those are just places you don't normally
That's
get
right.
out to and get to go and see and,
Sure.
and hands-on. And so I've really enjoyed seeing and hearing from these other organizations and what they do and the
Yes.
impact they have here in Aiken.
And it is huge. And if you don't, I mean, yeah, when I went through the program, I was very impressed with everything that's out there and
Right.
everything that's going on in our community. So, Ben, what's the biggest impact the Leadership Aiken County has on you?
Well, I think that's something that Jessica mentioned. I grew up in Aiken, and I went to Aiken High School and went to college and came back, and I never realized the breadth of
Yes.
things that are in Aiken and Aiken County, and even some of the issues that face Aiken County as we move forward
Right.
and grow and develop together. And I think you learn some of those things. And you are exposed to a variety of different things that you just wouldn't normally be exposed to, because in most situations, you get up, you get the kids to school,
Yeah.
you go to work, you pick the kids up,
That's
you
right.
go play a sport here or a dance here or whatever.
That's right.
And then you go home and you have your circle of friends. And what a lot of us don't get exposed to in our everyday life are the other things that there are in Aiken County. The class has been all over, and it really exposes and
Yes.
develops you to see the issues.
Yes.
And if you are exposed to the issues, then you can help correct them.
That's right.
And it also highlights the really good things we have
Mm-hmm.
going for us in Aiken County. And that list is almost too long to name. So.
That's very true. And I think with my going through the class, you really make these bonds and
That's
these
correct.
connections, networking,
Right.
and you become a real, I'm an Aikenite too. You become more of an advocate for your community, knowing some of the, just those issues that you're talking about. You know, what an impact Bridgestone has, what the site is doing, and just being educated on those issues really opened up my eyes to something that I didn't know they were close to.
Correct. And you really do make some lifelong friends within your class, just like in any group. And you always learn some lessons out of
Yes.
the things that you talk about, and you learn life lessons from other people,
Yes.
from their experiences, and you develop those friendships and bonds amongst your classmates. So it's a really a great experience for the participants. I still talk to people in my class, and this is the second class I've coordinated, and I've made friends in both classes. So it's a really good thing for people to both develop their leadership styles
Right.
and skills, as well as get those networking bonds that you mentioned.
Yes, and then the contribution that it has seen throughout our community through class projects and volunteerism is can't be beat, because I know the class always helps out, not only with this class project, they're going to be helping out with the City Cup and volunteering in that aspect as
Right.
well. So very good. Well, it's very exciting to know what's coming up on the horizon with
Yes.
the public art, and anything that we've missed, think we've done a real good job of
Yeah,
covering
no,
everything.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I appreciate y'all both being here today and talking about the benefits
Yeah.
and the class project. And we hope that all of you will, if you're interested, participate in Leadership Aiken County. Put that application in, but by all means help support the current class project through the public art. We're going to be getting some more information on coming up very shortly. So thank you for joining us today for Aiken This Week, and we'll see you next time.